Well, that's not the first
Well, that
time.
sucks.
And I know that.
Remember what happened in Vegas where you thought you lost your wallet and we spent like 45 minutes freaking out and then you found it in your backpack?
Yeah.
Wait, is it in your backpack?
Yeah, did you check your backpack?
Yes, I checked my backpack. I checked everywhere.
Did you really check it?
I really.
Where
checked it.
do you think you left it?
According to my tile, it is somewhere on the road.
Well, at least that's kind of good that you have.
Wait, like you don't. If it's telling you it's on the road, are you able to see like where, kind of in general area?
Yeah, I am. The problem is it's in this really remote area that's kind of off the road, so I think someone took it.
Oh,
Oh, you're saying it's off the road because you think it might be in a shanty town somewhere?
Yeah, it's in a shanty town. That's what happened.
Oh.
So, word to the wise,
What do you-
viewers, listeners, never go to shanty town. No matter how
what we-
attractive it was.
Well, I mean, that usually sucks if you lose your wallet. I'm sorry that happened to you.
No. The worst part is, hear me out. The worst part is, okay, I had my ID in there. I had all my credit cards. I had my debit card in there. I had like all these other things in there, right? And like business cards and all that. And the worst part of it all was that I had all these fucking stamp cards to Ramen Nikosha, and if you got 5 cards filled out, you get a special prize, and I'll never know what the fucking special prize is.
The homeless guy is gonna know what the special
he's
prize
gonna
is.
go, you see a homeless guy walking by with like a giant ramen hat on or something.
I had
No. It's gonna be a ramen pants suit
pantsuit,
Or it's
a
gonna-
ramen pants,
and then
and a hat
a t-shirt
and
that's-
shoes.
A t-shirt that says "I won
I serve-
lifetime supply of ramen at."
Oh, that's the
Nikosha."
special thing.
It's not fair. I had
Dude,
3
actually-
free ramens to claim. 3. And I
That is
And a pantsuit.
and a
that is really
pantsuit.
the worst aspect of this whole scenario.
It really
Oh
is.
wow.
Like, who cares? Driver's license, whatever. Go get another one.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the upside. At least you get to go to Ikosha a bunch more times to make up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how is he gonna pay for it anytime soon?
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
guess
regular. They know
our-
they know I'm good. They know I'm good.
I'm good for it. Come on, baby.
Good for it.
Come on, baby.
Hey, I'm the guy with the 5 cards. He goes, no, the guy with the 5 cards is over there, and he points in the corner, and they're like, they enshrined like his table, and it has his name. on a
Oh,
gold
right this
plate
way,
that says-
homeless Joe.
And he gets to skip the line whenever he wants to. He just shows up, and they're like, the ramen's already ready for him. They're like, oh, another usual.
He's got the chef's table.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry, man.
I guess I'm our last hope. I gotta build up my cards now.
No.
How many you got, Stu?
I only have 2, but I'd wager that Ben will probably get back to 5 before I do.
Considering I live down the street
because
from
he
one.
lives in. Yeah, you live like close proximity.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh, starting a new set. Oh, this is number 6, and then he'll have to sadly go, no, it's 1.
It's not fair, man.
Actually, I think the other guy's set up for a pretty good situation because he has your driver's license. All he has to do is edit your driver's license photo to look like him, and he goes, oh, yes, you are Ben Somali. Doesn't he have all your other stuff attached to that too? What else is in there?
You know, social security, passport,
Wait, you had your passport
birth
in your wallet?
certificate,
Oh my gosh! What? Are you sure this is a wallet?
my mother's
not a...
maiden name.
Yeah, it sure wasn't a purse.
Dude, he's gonna open up a loan and to open his Honey kosher at this point.
And then he'll apply for a loan and
The
be like, wait a minute,
franchise.
this guy's credit sucks. And then
His ramen credit is through the roof.
oh no, Ben's ramen credit is perfect score.
If it was at 800, they give him 9.
But his Equifax or whatever,
That's in the toilet.
not so great. Because he spent it all boosting his ramen score. So
Well, it's not going to be perfect anymore. I'm still paying off my last ramen. It was 3 years away.
Oh man. Well, if a Democrat wins, I heard Elizabeth Warren said she'll forgive all student loans, and I'm sure that probably
ramen
includes ramen debt. Ramen debt forgiveness 2020.
Universal basic ramen.
Stu, I think we have a winning platform here.
I mean, free ramen for. I mean, yeah, I
A
would.
free bowl of ramen for every red-blooded American for every day of the year.
Yeah, I'm voting.
A different type of ramen for each day of the year.
Perpetuity? Yes. Wow. Just gonna make all the ramen shops go to.
Although, I feel like I'd get like 2 or 3 ramens in, and then the rest of the ramens for the year would be like, I don't really like this. What is this, vegetable ramen? I don't want this.
Just trying to fulfill your. Be like, can I just get the noodles today? I know soup.
Mushroom and kimchi on ramen? That doesn't sound good. No, thank you.
Oh, man.
What are you guys what kind of fusion are you guys creating?
Like, I don't know. You wanted 365 days of ramen. There's only like 6 types of ramen.
First 6 months, tonkatsu only.
Broccoli and cheddar ramen.
This is
actually,
just
that
broccoli
sounds
soup.
pretty good. Hey, they actually have that the cheddar Maruchan like instant noodle one, the cup of noodle.
Really?
That one has cheddar in it.
Really?
That one's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, what about Alfredo ramen?
At some point, this is all.
That won't work because 95% of Asians cannot they can't process cheese or milk. That'd be the ones that nobody could eat.
Okay, what about Diet Cola ramen?
Cola.
Yes.
I mean,
Does it come in a liter?
Liter of cola, yes.
Isn't Alfredo ramen just
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Alfredo?
Wait, this is Olive Garden on it.
No.
Oh no, he's on to us.
All right. Well, it sucks for you, Ben, but you know what's great?
What?
Is we have another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos with your host, David.
And Stuart.
And Ben.
No, Ben, we have to give you a new identity
Oh,
since yours has
damn
already
it.
been stolen.
Yours just got stolen.
Fuck.
Alright.
Ikosha Somali.
Let's see.
I wouldn't mind that.
We'll call you Kosh for short.
Kosh.
What's up, Kosh?
Kosh.
Put me in, Kosh.
Put me in Kosh.
Well, this is episode number 21?
22.
22.
22.
Yeah,
Guys,
we did it.
wow. We're 3 episodes away from 6 months. We are 2 episodes away from 6 months.
Jesus.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And yet, we only have about half the episodes posted.
Yep.
Actually, exactly half.
It's actually going to be really funny when we actually post this one. They'll be like, wow, you guys recorded way too
This
long
was
ago."
2021 now. This guy's recorded this in January?
Uh-huh.
Well,
No, we're gonna get caught up. I promise. So,
you've been saying that for like 6 episodes.
well, they won't find out about that until,
until later.
later.
By the time this is
that's for
posted,
future
I'm
us.
going to lose my second wallet.
And your second second set of Ikosha cards.
Yeah, another 4 cards. Because I was so close to the fucking
Stu.
5th one again. Fuck.
Stu, we need to find out what his bike path is, and when he gets that 4th card, we're gonna rob him.
Stick him up. He's like, David Stewart, I know it's you. No, you don't.
No, it's not.
Not if I talk like this.
Not if I talk like this. Oh.
Well, then he'll know for sure.
Yeah, because you always default to Mickey.
You always do that.
And then you'll go to the
Damn it.
Chinese accent.
Oh, how do you
That's all he's got.
He's so predictable.
Chinese Mickey is all I got.
Wait, there's
Give me
Mickey.
your wallet, huh?
He's
I'm
just
sorry, that's all I
combining the
got.
two.
No, it's just my Chinese accent, and then I just add "ho" at the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. Well, we know how Ben's week went. Stu, besides our movie of the week, 1917, which both of you saw 2 weeks ago in 2019.
Yeah, Sans David.
Yeah, what else have you guys seen?
Oh, sorry, I was so focused on what happened to Ben. I did not even think. Oh, well, I did, as we kind of discussed last week. I did watch season 1, episode 1 of Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
Yo. How was it?
All right. Well, I guess we'll just segue directly into that. I mean, that was a
just do
perfect
it.
setup.
All right.
Let's just get into it.
The Street Sharks! Jawsome!
Dude, Street Sharks, episode 1, season 1. Holy crap, I don't remember any of that.
Nor do I, but and man, I'm glad I don't, because
Yeah, holy shit, man.
it was like a fresh new experience.
It was all over the place.
What?
Okay, here's the thing. How is this not a direct ripoff of the Ninja Turtles?
I'll tell you how it completely is. That's how.
I'm like, dude, they didn't even bother to change the colors. Right? The guy that's clearly supposed to be Leonardo also wears blue. That's the blue shark. Right? And the guy who's supposed to be like Michelangelo was wearing red. It was wearing orange, right? Raphael, the guy was wearing red. And then the first girl that's in the episode, looks just like April, also wearing yellow. I'm just like,
Yep.
he was probably the creator of Ninja Turtles in the first season, and he got kicked off because he was too rogue. And he goes, you know what? I'm gonna make my own show about sharks who also fight bad guys in the street.
Street Sharks.
Street Sharks. Done. And I think that moment happens in that episode.
It does. They're like, yeah, I like that. Street Sharks.
Yeah, we're a new attraction. This Street Sharks. Yeah, I like that. I was like, you don't have to sell me on it. There's sharks that can swim through asphalt. You sold me already. Don't try to oversell me
Yeah,
about
you gotta
it.
just quit while you're ahead.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm already writing you with a check for the down payment. Like, you're already gonna buy it. You already sold me on the car, right? I've already bought myself a Street Shark at this point.
Have you ever seen a superhero origin story where they just took to their newfound power?
No, they just
as quickly
they
as
just
these
fell into
guys
it.
did.
They just fell into it.
No, that's true, and they also knew exactly what their abilities were. That's what you're talking about, right, Sue?
Yeah, they're
they
just
knew they
like,
could
well, we're sharks now.
Yeah. Like, as soon as they transform, it was just like, oh, this sucks, and they're like, oh, it's not so bad. They literally said that. They're like, yeah, it could be
And then
worse.
they proceed to devour a hot dog.
Hot dog stand.
Not just the hot dogs, the fucking stand itself. That it seemed like
I
they were
think-
more focused.
No, you know what the best part about
I-
that whole part was? As soon as they started turning into sharks and everything, one of them gets a fucking mirror out of nowhere. And they're all passing it around. It's just like, where the fuck did that mirror come from? And they're like, whoa, we're sharks now.
There's so many instances in this episode, and I'm sure the series, where stuff like that just happens, and there's it's just completely blatant, out of nowhere. Yeah, this happened. So what?
Yeah.
Deal with it. By the way, this is the premise now. They can. How do you swim? Oh, wow. I have no
Also,
words.
how did they go from swimming in the lake or the river to swimming through concrete on the freeway?
Yeah, I don't get that. They're just like,
don't
yeah,
know.
I guess we can swim through concrete. Oh yeah, and also after they got kidnapped and drugged and everything, their first instinct was like, man, let's go get something to eat.
Well, I mean,
They're all bros, right?
Yeah,
I bought that.
he bought that.
I was fine with that. That wasn't the plot
If
hole I was looking for.
I was picturing if it were me, you, and David
Yeah.
getting street sharked, and we woke up and we're like, damn, what the fuck? Oh no, I'm kind of hungry though. Let's go.
I mean,
Let's go
okay,
eat all the
now
ramen
that you
spots.
say that, if I did see one of those LA hot dog cars, I probably would be like,
Right.
fuck, man.
You're like hot dog. You're like,
Oh,
yeah,
then-
fuck.
Yeah, I just got
It'd be
injected with something.
all of
and
them.
I just want to get that bacon wrap hot dog right now.
I think someone just tried to murder me, but I guess since you're here, I'll take two.
Yeah.
No, I'm not just gonna take two. I'm gonna take the entire cart.
And then that's
just
when
gonna
you
eat the whole
devour
thing.
the whole thing.
That's true.
Wait, David, you're the one who has the most background information on this show, right? Because it seemed like you had a fondness for it.
I definitely remember bits and pieces of watching this when I was a kid on Saturdays, but in terms of what I recall, nothing comes to mind. I just remember what they looked like, and that there was different types of sharks. There was like the tiger shark, and then there was the hammerhead shark. But
He
then
was my
I don't.
favorite.
And yeah, he's probably the best one. Oh no, I really. And then there's like the great white, and then I don't remember any of the other ones. But I definitely don't remember the bad guys. I think I might have confused them with actual Ninja Turtles.
Dude.
Because okay, here's the thing. Wait, before you say anything.
Okay.
How did the swordfish have a drill? Where did that come from? The lobster I get, right? I mean, he's just a giant lobster human version, right? The swordfish, he should have just had a sword. I mean, maybe it's like kind of razored or whatever. That's fine. But where did the frickin' drill come from? What did he do? Oh, I'm going to combine him with a Black & Decker, and he's going to...
Yeah, it wasn't just some kind of curved horn. It was a fucking rotating drill.
And then here's the thing is, like, they I don't know if this is part of, like, their story as them learning how to be superheroes, but they cause so much destruction.
That part
So
took
much.
like half a second for them to learn how to be superheroes.
Yeah, seriously.
No, they weren't superheroes. They were super sharks that caused destruction.
I mean, but their
Dude,
first
they
thing was
pushed
like,
over the entire roller coaster over to try to trap 3 dudes.
That's true. When they could have just went over and beat them up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you guys notice when they were holding up
Yeah,
the roller
he
coaster that
skates
one of
by,
them
right?
skated away?
And then he
And
gets
then he's
back.
It's like this whole show was animated separately from what like the story was supposed to be.
They were probably, I have a feeling, based on the way the pacing of the first episode, they probably were not expecting this pilot to go anywhere. They're just like, all right, everybody as a group, they probably just like threw them in a corner and was like, all right, these guys are not on the main project or whatever, just come up with whatever. And they came up with whatever all separately. They're like, how do we stitch these things together, right? I'm sure they probably all had separate story arcs that they came up with. They're like, well, we like this part out of this one. This is the Soup Plantation or Hometown Buffet of like animated TV shows.
So it must be amazing.
Why do you think we're going to do the entire series? Right? It's just like this. You get so many different like flavors, right? It doesn't seem like there's like this cohesive vision when it comes to this. It's just kind of like, that sounds like a cool idea. Yeah, let them swim through asphalt. Hey, you know, it'd be really cool if one of the bad guys has a drill for a nose.
Hey, you know what else would be cool is if they're escaping the authorities and they just blend into a billboard.
Oh yeah.
They bite a hole through a billboard and they just like
Sit there.
blend into it.
They're pursued very closely. How much time did it take for them to get in that position?
I don't
know.
The police were right behind them. How did they not see that?
But I got to tell you, that was in that segment, there was like this line stuck out in my head for some reason. It's like it's burned into my memory now. They were trying to hide, and the sidekick guy is like, quit moving around. And then his response was, I can't stop moving around. I'm a shark.
Shark. This show is not only entertaining but educational because sharks can never stop moving.
Well, like as soon as they turned into sharks, they just went full in on the shark.
That's actually
puns.
a thing. Yeah,
Like-
I mean it's a thing. Sharks have to continue to move. That way, the water can go over their gills, so they can absorb oxygen.
They can't even stop for 1 second.
No, because he's a shark. Duh. Stupid.
But he's not a shark. He's a street shark. I think there's a difference. I don't think sharks.
He needs
can
to
chomp
constantly
through hot dog carts either. So.
he needs to
swim through
constantly
concrete.
constantly have concrete and asphalt go across his gills so he can absorb all of the carbon that is in there. That's how they breathe. Here's the thing: is all I know is after that origin story, I want to know what happened to their dad.
Oh, I'm sure there's probably like a whole arc about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how many seasons it is, but I think it's only one. I don't know if it ever made the season 2.
Probably not.
Yeah, but in terms of our entertainment value, this is a fantastic thing for us to do as a group. Yeah, and I think we're doing Mighty Ducks after this, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, that's our little bit of our synopsis of episode 1, season 1 of Street Sharks.
Sharkbait was the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, shark.
That it will be the title of this episode, I'm sure.
I think it should be Jawsome.
Yeah, Jawsome.
Jawsome.
Like they immediately said that as
Sharkbait,
soon as they
Jaw.
turned into sharks. They're like, yeah, Jawsome. Keep your hands and fins inside the ride at all times.
Yeah.
Just like they just leaned into it.
They just.
They were no shame whatsoever, and that's the way this should have been.
Like, fuck. My whole day gets ruined, like, by, like, my shoe getting untied. Like, these guys became sharks.
Yeah.
And fucking just, like, accepted it and ran with it.
You know, I think there's a lesson that needs to be learned here, is that there are some things that are out of your control. And
That's
being
true.
injected with mutated DNA from a shark that makes you mutate into a street shark, sometimes whatever you turn into, you just kind of just got to accept and just move forward.
When life gives you mutant shark DNA, you make street sharks. I think that's what the takeaway is here.
Sue, that was perfect. We're going to move on from there.
The Street Sharks! Jawsome!
All right, we're going to jump straight into our box office rundown for this week. Unless you guys have something else that you guys want to talk about before we get into that.
Oh.
I just want to know how you hire, as a state-run university, how you hire someone as the head of your faculty named Dr. Paradigm, who runs around dressed as a bad guy.
He even has a metal
That
eye
is
patch.
true.
His name is
I know.
Dr. Paradigm. How is that not the most evil, villainous name?
And he has
Well,
like a helicopter
Well,
that
it
shoots
was better than-
lasers.
I'm sure he. No, not just one laser. It shoots in a triangle formation. That was the weirdest thing I ever seen.
I think it was more like a burst laser, because they clearly weren't aiming it. It just shot in all directions.
They weren't aiming at anything. Period. I think there was just no aiming at all.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to step back into the
No,
street shark
please.
zone.
You mean step back into the waters? I mean
Or
the asphalt.
The asphalt,
Wow.
yeah.
But yeah, all right. So we're gonna jump straight into our box office rundown for this week. At number one is no surprise. It is 1917. Number two, down from number one, is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Jumanji places third. A newcomer to the top five is number four, Like a Boss, with 10 million. Just Mercy comes in at number five. I don't know anything about that movie. Little Women slides from number 3 to number 6. New to the top 10 is Underwater. That comes in at number 7. Frozen falls from 4 to 8. Knives Out from 7 to 9. Spies in Disguise, that is the Will Smith pigeon movie, is now number 10. Falling out of the top 10, as we normally talk about, is The Grudge, which was at number 5 last week, now at 11. Uncut Gems from 8, now down to 12. Bombshell, that was at 9, is now at 13. Guys, thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Oh, and Cats. Cats fell out of the top 10. It was number 10, not number 17.
Boo.
That one fell off hard.
Boo. It's because we didn't go see it. We could have saved it.
Well,
Dos and a Half Cinco Army. Well done.
well, not to pull a Ben, but there wasn't that much that came out this last week, right? I mean,
Wow. 19.
actually, I guess, yeah.
Like a Boss and Underwater both placed into the top 10 at number 4 and number 7 respectively.
Yeah, but I don't imagine those are going to stick around for very long.
Well, I mean, the Like a Boss that's the Salma Hayek
Yeah.
movie, and then Underwater is the one with
What's her name?
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, and the guy who did the bomb threat.
Yeah, T.J. Miller.
Oh, okay. In a serious role? Or is he
Well,
just the comedy?
He's comic relief in I think
Is
it's like
he
a horror movie.
Yeah, okay. I'm actually not too surprised. I'm actually a little bit surprised about Jumanji still holding on so well. I mean, it just...
Like I said last week, I've stopped being surprised about
The Rock.
The Rock and his movie performances. Not his performance in movies, but the performance of his movies.
Yeah, so like for example, I think we were looking at what Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, and that stayed in the top 5 for quite some time.
Yep. So I've stopped being surprised by him and just accepted that I guess his movies are just that have that kind of appeal.
So I know that 1917 technically debuted in 2019, so that's why it was eligible for a Golden Globe and also for an Oscar. But this is the first week that it was in wide release. Are you guys surprised at all by the 37 million? Do you guys feel like it should have been higher because of the fact that it received a Golden Globe? It won a Golden Globe for, Best Drama and also Best Director.
And does this only include its wide release, or did these numbers include the select release also?
It also includes a select release because this
Okay.
includes the 3 weeks that it debuted from last year.
Oh.
And it's slow climb from like 17 last week to now number 1, but because it was technically a wide release now, I'm counting it as a brand new film for this sake.
I mean, I think it lands pretty much where I expected it to, I mean, even with all the buzz around it being, a really good movie and all, it's still kind of a somewhat of a hard sell because it is a war movie, and it's not
It's
like
rated R. It's
I was getting to that. It's rated R. Yeah.
So you think that Spies in Disguise should have still been number 1?
I guess there's only
Yeah,
one
if we
way
go-
to find out, David. I guess it's going to be our movie of the week, right? Next week. Spies in Disguise.
Is it?
Yeah. We all know this is what's been leading up to, David.
I thought it was Cats.
Oh. Well, in that case, stay tuned for our next episode, Cats.
On the next episode of Dos and a Half Cincos, will Cats be the next? No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
Will Ben find his ramen card?
No, the answer is no.
No, they're gone.
They've already been redeemed.
Fuck.
Will homeless Joe get the bank loan out in Ben's name?
Yes, he will.
Spoiler alert, yes.
I didn't realize that Uncut Gems had actually been out for 5 weeks already.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah, time flies.
We just reviewed it last week.
Yeah, and it's sad to say that Adam Sandler did not get a nomination for the Oscars. So, man, I really
Yeah, I feel like he should have at least, gotten a nod. Has he ever been nominated for Best Actor?
I don't think so, no.
I think this would have been his shot, and he did a fantastic job. But let's not talk about stuff that we already talked about before. Any other surprises or comments or questions? What are we looking forward to for next week?
Well, if we're talking about what we're going to be watching for next week, I would hope it would be Bad Boys for Life.
I think that goes without question at all.
I've never seen
think
Bad
so.
Boys.
Ben, you better fucking watch those first 2 before you go see this movie.
I've seen
Yeah,
Hot
Ben,
Fuzz.
where are you going to watch the first 2?
On Netflix. They're on Netflix.
Well, there's your homework for the week. For anybody who's not listening to the podcast because we haven't posted this one, do
Ben
your homework. Listen to watch this when you hear this one, and then that way you can see Bad Boys for Life when it comes out on Netflix.
Ben's just going to be like, I watched Hot Fuzz twice.
Yeah, that would have sufficed because it has Bad Boys in it, all right? Shit just got real. I know that part.
Wow.
That's all I need to know.
All right. Well, that pretty much will do it for our box office rundown for this week. I will say that when I was watching 1917, the previews for A Quiet Place 2. Wow.
Oh, I don't think I saw. I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, I
This
think
one's so good. It reminds me kind of a little bit of like Last of Us.
Wait, why didn't I see it? I was there for the previews, I think.
I don't think that they had just released it yet. So I'm
Yeah.
seeing this on the 10th. You guys
We
saw
saw it
weeks
on
ago.
the right.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if the previews were exactly the same, but if you guys have a chance to, I would definitely recommend it. It is tasty.
Ooh, real quick, that reminded me of when I was perusing through YouTube. I just happened to come across this. I didn't realize they're doing this, and I'm super excited. Coming to America 2.
Huh?
Oh
Yeah.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
You stop it right now.
Yeah, Eddie
Isn't it
Murphy.
like 30 years later?
Yeah, they've already pretty much filmed it. I think.
What?
I saw it on. Will Smith was on Jimmy Fallon, and he was talking about how he ran into Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes, who had just finished filming Coming to America 2.
What?
And I was looking at the cast, and it's like, oh my god, like it's like all the original cast is back, which is amazing.
We're gonna see James Earl Jones again.
Yeah, James Earl. John Amos, Arsenio Hall.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He's probably not going to be in there.
He could
Yeah,
try to
after
rob
the-
McDowell's
the-
again.
I'm gonna make the. Yes, I'm excited. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. All right, let's not jump too far down this hole. All right, Ben,
Yes.
1917, go.
In the highly anticipated prequel to World War II, two British soldiers, Lance Corporal Schofield and Lance Corporal Blake, receive seemingly impossible orders. In a race against time, they must cross over into enemy territory to deliver a message that could potentially save 1,600 of their fellow comrades, including Blake's own brother. That's it.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
I missed the period.
I was really expecting for there to be something. Will they make it in time?
Oh man,
Or-
I should have. Find out on
Find
the next
out on the next episode.
World
of-
War
Or-
One.
World War
World War
Z.
II.
Dun, dun,
Z
dun,
what?
dun.
Wait, World
All
War
right,
Z
well,
is a
thanks,
zombie
Ben,
thing.
for that. They come back. All right, Stu, thoughts?
Thoughts are, holy Jesus, tap dancing Christ! This movie was amazing.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't think there was one thing in this movie I didn't like, and just the way they did it, as everyone probably knows, all the continuous shots were amazing. I thought the acting was amazing. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do it, guys. I think I'm gonna do it.
Holy fuck! Here it comes.
He's gonna
Here.
give it a 2.
I think I'm
You-
gonna. It's good. It's happening. It's fucking. It's 10 out of 10 out of 10.
Oh my god! He
Oh.
did it. He fucking
Holy
did it.
shit!
You
This
heard it
movie-
here first. 10 out of 10.
This movie was, oh my god, amazing.
Okay. All right, Ben.
Damn. Well, David, if you fuck this up, man, if you fuck this up, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Holy fuck.
Woo!
Number one movie of the year for me, 2019. Jesus Christ, what a movie. What a fucking movie. And I'm really not one for like war movies or period pieces, but damn, man. Holy fuck. What a good ass movie. I want to talk more specifics in the spoiler zone,
Yeah,
so
me
I'm
too,
not
yeah.
gonna say too much about it. So David, how are you gonna fuck this
Yeah.
up?
How are you gonna piss us off this week?
Well, I didn't give it a perfect score.
Well, this has been Dos and a Half Cincos. I'm Ben, and I am getting the fuck out of here. Adios.
No, it was a really good movie, and for a long since Saving Private Ryan, there hasn't been a movie that's was able to do war the same way. I felt this constant tension the entire time. I never felt easy once. I'm giving it a 9. I feel. I mean, it's not a 10. I mean, I'm still waiting for something. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I don't think that this was necessarily it. I put this is in the same realm as Joker. Joker was a fantastic film. I really liked that one a lot. Sam Mendes did win a Golden Globe for Best Director, and it's well deserved. The film was incredible. But you guys are both giving it 10s. I didn't see it as a 10. I'm sorry. But in general, I mean,
You might as
I
well
thought-
have given it a 1 from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I can't give it a 10.
Did they was it like a different showing in the wide release? Did they put was there like an animated cat involved at any point?
Honestly
like-
speaking, I think because I didn't see it in Dolby Digital, I don't know if that was what it might have been that would have changed it. The shots for the movie are incredible. I enjoyed the story. The pacing was great. The characters are really fleshed out. Everything was really well done. I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't feel it for this. Right? I feel like for me, perfect 10, like the one that came closest was probably for me for last year was Joker. I feel like in terms of the direction that it was, it's just I didn't go in there with expectations or anything like that. I still really enjoyed the movie. I still think it was fantastic. He did an incredible job, especially being able to utilize all of the tools in his bucket. I'm sure Spielberg would have probably wished that he had the technology at the time when he shot Saving Private Ryan to be able to come away with certain shots that we'll talk about later. But I don't know, I couldn't give it a 10. I could see why you guys did.
There's a litany of reasons
Sure.
that were just everything about this movie, top to bottom, I thought was just amazingly done.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, I don't think 9's a bad score.
I do.
By any okay. By any stretch. I don't know. I guess maybe it's one of those cases where
I'm just trying to guilt you into upping the score.
It's not going to happen. If anything, I would move it towards a 9.5. I just feel like for
Still
me
holding out.
at the end of the day, I felt like I was misled a little bit based on the trailers. I was expecting a lot more of Benedict Cumberbatch in the movie. I didn't know what to expect, so I kept everything open. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with the movie. I don't know if there was anything that could be improved. I think this is the reason why I should never see previews.
Yeah, you should
'Cause
just
you
not.
Yeah, but overall, 9 doesn't take anything away from it. I mean, if it's definitely not going to stop me from recommending it. I think it's a really incredible movie. Definitely makes you feel. For me, I just didn't feel something. Right from. I think we should just jump into the spoilers zone.
Yeah.
I want to talk about certain things. I don't want to spoil it for
Right.
anybody. If anything, based on this, I mean, average between the three of us is what, 9.8 or something like that.
No, it's a 10.
mean-
I mean, we're not counting yours. We're not counting yours. So perfect 10. Welcome to Dos Cincos.
Well, un and a half.
Un and a half cinco.
Yeah, but as a recommendation, go watch it. That's pretty much it. You make your own decision, but if you give it anything less than an 8 or a 9,
or anything less than 9.9.
Okay. All right, we're gonna just jump straight into the spoiler zone. All right, we're here.
Okay. Spoiler zone.
Okay. All right, Stu, go.
So I think in a sense, I was misled in a good way, or maybe not misled, because the last time I heard of a movie where there was going to be like a prolonged, kind of scene, was going to be in high school when Doom came out. I thought like the whole movie was going to be in first person, but it was just that one little 2.5 minute scene, which was cool in itself. This time I was a little worried, because I heard all the hype about, they're doing all these continuous shots and blah blah blah. So I was like, there'll probably be a couple continuous shots, but holy fuck, no, the whole, almost everything was a continuous shot. There's probably only about, if I think about it, there was probably only about 4, maybe 5 or 6 breaks where they have a moment to kind of do the sequence,
Like a reset.
yeah. So but the amount of time between those was like amazingly long, and just the amount of effort, and not just from like the whole film crew, but like the actors like having to nail these scenes like in these continuous spans. Like, holy shit, it was amazing. I don't even know who these actors are, and they're like amazing.
Yeah, that's actually what I kind of liked about this movie, aside from the technical standpoint of all these long continuous shots. Well, there was a lot of cool masking to kind of hide like what seemed like continuous shots into and string them along into like these really long, takes, right? And that was really cool. But the actors themselves, right? If we're looking at them, they are pretty much nobodies to us, and that helps you kind of relate to them. They're not a big actor, they're not Benedict Cumberbatch. You kind of put yourself in their shoes, because most of the time we're following Lance Corporal Schofield. Is that his name?
Schofield.
Yeah, Schofield. So we're following him. Like, when I was misled with the advertising, because I thought we're going to be following Blake. I thought Blake was
Blake.
Yeah, so did I.
But we ended up following him, and what I liked about him becoming the main character, or him being the main character, was that he doesn't really have a backstory or too much. He has just enough charm and characteristics.
He didn't have any. Yeah, he didn't have anything at stake for this one compared to like Blake, right? Blake had his brother that he was trying to fight for, and then Schofield just kind of like, he's kind of thrust into this because he happens to be the closest person next to him, right next to Blake, to get volunteered for this thing, thinking that all he was gonna do is, and then he gets blown up, he gets shot at, he has to, like, it's his job to finish the mission, even though it was never supposed to be his mission in the first place.
Yeah, and what I like about that was that he's kind of like a blank canvas, but not too blank to where you don't really feel anything for him. It kind of helps you be put in his place. It's just like, wow, this is a really shitty situation that you have to do this and all that. And then finally at the end of the movie, you do kind of see his, some of his reasoning for going through with it. He wants to get back home, essentially. He wants to get out of this war. He doesn't want to keep doing this bullshit over and over again. And that thought was kind of hammered in at the end when he finally delivers the orders to Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Colonel Mackenzie. He pretty much says like, oh, who gives a fuck? I'm just gonna do this again tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here. It's very nihilistic. Like, none of it really mattered. He lost his friend. He got sent to hell and back. And at the end, what does he get? He gets absolutely jack shit. Pretty much the colonel tells him to go fuck off. He literally did tell him to go fuck off. And then he, delivers a message to his brother, and that's it. Right?
I think he told him to go get some chow.
Yeah.
No, he told him to go get patched up and go get something to eat, and then go
and then fuck
away.
off.
Yeah, that was
fuck off.
Yeah, that was his hero's welcome, essentially. And man,
well, I mean, he got thanked at the door right as he was leaving. He goes, "Oh, thank you for that. You saved a lot of lives," or something like. He says something,
but it wasn't Colonel Mackenzie.
By some like NCO or yeah.
Oh no! It was like some rando, because he, like, I think you're right. Like, he's already reserved to this fate that, I'm sure it's probably like partially to the fact that like he's done this so many times. He's sent young men to their deaths to be able to fight over some land that that he doesn't give two craps about, because guess what? They're British. They're fighting in France. Who cares? To them, who cares?
Yeah. So it did carry that kind of tone throughout the movie, and I really, really enjoyed that, especially like the uncertainty of meeting someone in the heat of battle, right? When they met that German soldier who crashed in the plane, they're trying to help him.
That motherfucker.
Oh man, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Dude, that whole scene was like amazing, just because like,
yeah,
I was kind of lulled into like this kind of like, oh, they're just gonna help him, and oh, he's an enemy soldier. I didn't really think anything of it. I even when I saw like they kind of like moved the camera over his like gigantic knife, I didn't really think anything was gonna happen.
I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you see Schofield, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, the look on his face when he turns around and sees what's happening. Like, you don't see what's happening, but he sees what's happening.
Yeah.
And it just hits you so fast. Like, I would imagine in that if that's in that kind of actual scene, that's everything happens so fast, like you don't even know how to react, and it even takes him like a second to get his rifle up to help him.
I know.
Because he's so shocked that somebody who's like, they just saved from a burning wreckage
Yep.
would turn around and like, hurt his hurt his like saviors.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Ben, you hit the nail on the head. Like I think it was like Schofield is he's thrust into this hero role even though he never wanted it, right? He was more than happy to just sleep against that tree, right? He didn't want to get dragged in the first place, thinking that it was going to be something easy, and yet Lance Corporal Blake is running around this like kind of like not lucky, happy-go-lucky, but almost kind of like looking for the pride, right? Like it's almost like kind of like when we were talking about Jojo Rabbit, right? Jojo starts out like thinking like he wants to go join the young Nazis, and he wants to go out and fight because there's honor and glory, and like it's just these two characters like are complete opposites when they get thrusted together. And he saves his life, and he owes him his life because he saved him from a wreckage of the entire mine shaft is like coming down. And Schofield is kind of reluctant, like he's a reluctant hero. He doesn't want to do this. He's just like, I was more than happy of not doing anything. Why would you volunteer me for this? But then, Lance Corporal Blake is running around like thinking like, oh, why would you give that medal away? Like, where did that medal go? And he's like, it's just a piece of tin. Who cares? Who gives a crap? But he's like, oh, I would have brought it home, blah, blah, blah. And that's the reason why he has this like mentality, this thinking that like, this is an opportunity to be able to get honor and glory, and kind of like romanticizes the thought about war. And he wakes up really quickly as soon as that knife is plunged into his stomach that, hey, not everybody's on the same page. The Nazi guy's like, hey, I'm dying here. I don't give two shits. I'm going to take whoever's with you. And it's just kind of like this idea that, I don't know, this is the reason why I couldn't give it a full 10, is because I felt that this movie was trying to be anti-war. And it's so close. It even has moments where the guys are on that truck together, and they're not reminiscing, but there's this perspective that kind of throws over it, and they pass by it so quickly they don't even give you a chance to mull it over, and then the moment's over, right? Where the British guys are just like, who the hell is this Schofield guy? Who's this guy who's gonna join them on this caravan, on this truck? And they don't know who the hell this guy is. Why is all of a sudden we give a crap about him, make his ass walk, kind of thing? And then they're exchanging war stories, and then they realize, man, if we had known that this shit is what they're fighting over, like this land, who gives a crap, right? Like, we would have just let them have it, right? Is the mentality. So it's just kind of like there's this, Schofield represents this anti-war, which is fantastic. I like that a lot. I just really wish that they had kind of like let that flesh out a little bit, and then kind of lean in just a little bit more. Because there's that story about like he runs into that French woman who is taking care of a child that's not hers, right? It's kind of like the same story that happens to Schofield, right? He gets thrust into this role as he has to save somebody. He's saving 1,600 guys, even though he has technically no ties to any of them, right? Outside of this oath and this promise and this like debt he has to pay to be able to at least bring whatever he has to his brother, Lieutenant Blake, to be able to at least tell him, hey, look, the story is he died bravely, he didn't die alone, he was he deserved a lot of honor, and yet he was left by the side of a barn, and that was it.
Well, I'm sure
no
they
heroes.
collected. I'm sure they collected him later.
But they're in that. Well, I don't know. You never know, right? I mean, there were so many bodies strewn about, like right, like Schofield is climbing over dead bodies in the river. He's climbing dead bodies while he's walking around, right? Lance Corporal Blake doesn't even know that he's stepping on somebody else as they're trying to get over the trenches to be able to go into no man's land, right? It's just like this kind of like this. You feel like they want to make this message about this movie was built to be able to kind of talk about how destructive war is, and how we can kind of like almost romanticize it to a sense, but at the same time we shouldn't, because it's so destructive, and we're fighting each other for what? For land that really I felt like it wanted to be it wanted to do this anti-war propaganda so badly, but at the same time I felt like it wasn't as cohesive as I was hoping for. That's why I couldn't give it the full 10, is because it couldn't dedicate to one or the other. But in terms of everything else you guys talked about, you guys hit it on the spot. Story was great. I really like the fact that there's an anti-hero kind of in this. The shots that were done were incredible. I didn't even know that was possible. I'm guessing that they used a drone for most of it, like especially when they're in the trenches or when they're crossing over no man's land. And there's that shot where they're walking down that mud pit, and then all of a sudden there's that pan across as it's moving with them. That was something very. One of my coworkers said it's a pretty movie, and I was like, I agree with you for sure.
Actually, there was a recent video that got put out. I think it's by Variety or something. It's a 10-minute video, but they go over all the different shooting techniques they had to do to bring this movie to life, and it was really cool. They went over like how they spliced together a lot of the scenes. How a lot of the scenes, even though they look very long, they actually they pass by a pole or something, and that's where they splice it. And they even talk about how they move the camera around. Sometimes they're running with the camera, and then they have to hand it off to someone who's in a car, and then they would start moving. It's really, really cool. I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Yes, I saw bits of that in like the in
behind the scenes,
the weeks coming up to the movie, where they would show it before other movies. They'd show like little clips of how they did all that, and how they're talking about how they have to, they have to deal with the weather and to get the same continuity. And which is like, it's just like even just the effort, even if the movie wasn't like good, like the effort that went into it to just to make it, like you don't see that kind of effort anymore. Anyone else would have been like, yeah, whatever, CGI this, CGI that, whatever.
Yeah. Like you had to put a lot of thought into that, even the blocking, not even the action scenes. What I was really impressed with was at the beginning when they're walking through the trenches. Like you have to think of where you're moving and make sure everyone is moving in a way that doesn't get in the way of yours, or that's visually appeasing. And there's like a lot of background people going through that trenches, and that was like insane to me.
It's like the best extras crew ever. Like,
yeah, seriously,
like the highest paid extras, the most qualified. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I just imagine like me just trying to do that. Even if I was trying my best, I probably would have like ate shit like every take. I've like tripped over something or dropped something, or
seriously,
just fumbled the lines.
Everyone had to be like in sync. It was crazy. And let me one more thing. The one of my favorite shots of the movie had to be when Schofield woke up after getting shot in the head. And it was nighttime, and there was flares going up around that abandoned city he was in, or that abandoned town, with all the shadows going around. And in that video I was talking about, they went over how they actually did that, and what they had to do was build a little miniature model of the town first, and then they had this little prop light go over the town to see how the shadows would move, and then they had to come up with this device that would shoot move this like flare like light over the town so it could recreate those shadows going over.
Holy shit.
I know, it's, oh my god.
Well, I'm glad that they put a lot of work into it, because it definitely showed. I mean, I don't know if we want to jump straight into it, but that was my favorite moment of the movie.
Yeah, seriously.
Was him running, watching as these, like, I don't know if it's like flares or there's like bombs that are going off or something like that that's causing all these flashes that you see him with. This just like intensity of just trying to run, and it seems like the darkness has no end, and there's light, and then now he's got to be able to at least get out of the way to be able to get, without getting shot at or anything like that. I think for me that was my favorite moment in that movie. I felt so tense. I literally was sitting at the edge of my seat.
Oh my god.
I couldn't imagine watching that movie sitting in Dolby Digital, hearing that and watching that at the same time, because I'm sure that would have probably enhanced the experience even further. But that was, for me, that's my favorite moment of that movie was just that running scene where it starts. The beginning part is where it starts, right, where he looks over and he can't really quite make out who that is. It's
oh my god,
he can't tell if it's a Nazi or not.
That was so good.
And then all of a sudden and then the Nazi realizes that that's
Yeah,
not
they're
one
both-
of his, right?
They're both
and then,
realizing it.
Yeah.
correct. And then he takes off. The other guy is desperately trying to gun him down. He like runs and like turns a corner, barely stumbles, is constantly running and full sprint, and he's just like, you could tell he's gasping for breath. He is willing himself. He's pumping his arms frantically, just trying to get himself one more step further away from this guy, and then constantly runs into more resistance, and then runs into the other guy who, you know, ducks into this corner, slides in underneath this other thing. It just, wow, what a sequence. Like, if there was an Oscar or a award for best sequence, that
That
there
whole
should
movie would have it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
one
every-
whole sequence.
Every
so many
sequence would have it.
yeah.
It'd really just be
So-
competing with itself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and be like, which sequence would win? But in terms of visual aspects, that one was the most technical, and I think it showed, and it also was the most impressive to me.
I think that
I think
one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I think that definitely was like the most, to me, like the most visually kind of like striking scenes. But one of the like in the earlier part of the movie, just the whole the scene that I enjoyed was when they first cross over into no man's land, when they're just like the whole, just the basically all the barbed wire and the mud and the impact craters from it was just like, man, this looks like World War One. It must have looked from just like, other movies who've done World War One, or just like pictures from World War One, because I don't think too many movies have tried to like touch on World War One. I think the only major one I've seen that wasn't like a gimmick movie was Legends of the Fall, where there was like they had some pretty like gruesome or brutal depictions of like the battlefields and stuff. But I really enjoy when they were crawling down into the crater to take cover, and one of them like gets like spooked by a rat and bumps into, I think Blake gets spooked by a rat and bumps back into Schofield, who plants his hand down into like a rotting corpse.
Oh man, I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
sequence. That was so good.
That was an amazing sequence.
Yeah, like I would have to say that my favorite scene would probably have to be tied with him running through the flare-lit town, or the final run sequence at the end where he's running out of time, so he runs past the first wave.
Oh,
Like,
yep.
Just
he
the
jumps
tech-
out and then runs across, and then him desperately trying to get 300 yards or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he like bumps into like two guys.
I
One of them
know.
doesn't get up. The first guy doesn't get up though.
Yeah.
The second one, I was like, did he get shot? Is that why he fell down? But the second guy he runs into, and then he gets up or whatever. But yeah, that's an iconic scene as well.
Yeah, seriously. I know they've played it in the trailers all the time, but man, seeing that whole sequence play out and the scenes leading up to it were just amazing to me. That look of desperation, that final push to just send him over the edge, get out of the trench, and just make a beeline towards Colonel Mackenzie. It did not disappoint. I mean, I feel like I could talk about like a whole bunch of scenes that were my favorite scenes of the movie. Like,
Yeah, I can't think of a scene that wasn't like amazing to me.
the rat scene, holy shit! When
Even-
the fucking tripwire in
Dude,
the
that, yeah,
fucking
the
mine,
bunker rat scene.
that got me so bad.
Amazing.
That got me so bad.
I know.
I thought the movie was over. I thought the movie was
I
over.
know. It's just like,
I was actually really upset when Blake died.
yeah, that one hit
that-
me hard.
that
hit me really hard.
It was tough to watch too, because how they did it. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like some glorious thing where like he saves his buddy or whatever. He's like helping like this Nazi dude who probably was gonna die anyways from his wounds from like the crashing of the plane, and he gets stabbed and then he dies right then and there. I'm just like,
it's just kind of like unceremonious. Just like, you thought it might like you think he would like want something like bigger, like, oh, he died in battle or something.
oh no,
like
that's
that.
but that's exactly what
Nope.
he would have wanted.
Yeah, but no,
Right.
he just gets stuck by a stupid idiot. But he just like wasn't paying attention for a half second, and boom,
Yep.
dead.
Fuck, man.
And then the wording that happens right after it, right? Schofield's like, why are we helping this dude?
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, fine, you're telling me to go get him water, I'll go get him water. And then he turns his back, and that's the moment where he was supposed to protect. Like, remember, like, he was like, oh, age before beauty. So Schofield's clearly much older than him, right? Knows more, been in the war longer. and he turns around and he's supposed to be his guardian, and and I feel like he feels extra guilty because he's supposed to protect this neophyte, like this guy who doesn't know anything, who probably has never seen battle before, right? Who got drafted because, you know, he's old enough. And he turns his back, and then for 1 second he goes, and then he hears him and goes, "What are you doing? Stop! No, stop!" And then he gets stabbed twice, and that's how he dies. I mean, that's part of that same narrative, right? War is not glorious.
Yeah.
Right? There are no heroes, and there's no hero's death, right? Yeah, there are people who will sacrifice themselves for king and country, but you know, I was listening to this this motivational speaker who talks about, you know, how to develop like workplace culture and stuff like that, and he says that the biggest like experience he's ever had was observing the Marines, and he says, you know, nobody dies for king and country. They always are willing to sacrifice themselves for the guy on their left and for the guy on the right. And I think this movie did such a good job in doing that, in portraying that camaraderie, that brotherhood, and that family aspect, that they have to take care of each other because it doesn't seem like anybody else will, because everybody else is shooting at them. But at the same time, also just how gory and graphic and how unceremoniously people die in war, and how we just look at the end of the day, they look at a death toll, the kind of way Colonel McKenzie looked at it, which was just like, I'm just going to do this tomorrow. Right? You're stopping it today, but tomorrow we're going to attack again anyways.
Yeah, that was like I was worried they was kind of like leading up to like kind of making Benedict Cumberbatch like out to like be like almost like a villain. But then like he's just like, when he finally accepts it, he's like, he calls it off, but then like the reality sets in, and it's like this same thing's just going to happen again tomorrow. They're going to send another order to go attack, and then, you know, it'll just be the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
There was just, as far as like the making of the movie, one of the details, I don't know if anyone else noticed, just like when Schofield and Blake first arrived at that house where Blake was ultimately stabbed at, when they first arrived there, there's a dead dog in the front yard, or in the yard, and then like 15 minutes later, when he's gets in the back of the truck, in almost just like in the background, you just hear one of the other soldiers go, "Is that a dead dog?"
Yeah,
like, just fucking. So just that little detail was like amazing to me. Like, I don't think anyone else making a movie these days would have any of that. Just have someone in the background just say, "Hey, mention that dead dog." Like, just the thought that went into it.
Yeah.
It definitely adds to the continuity and the immersiveness. That just kind of like, yeah, you notice these things, and guess what? It definitely, every detail was not missed. I feel like that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very close attention to detail, so I very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Right, David?
10 out of 10.
Woo! Holy fuck, we're back to it.
Is that a real 10 out of 10, or is that a fake 10 out of 10?
Honestly, when it comes, like, I think well, here's the thing. I feel like when it comes to movies, and the reason why I think we started this in the first place, is how movies bring us together, right? Even though as an activity, it is probably one of the most isolated things that you can do as a group, right? Nobody talks, nobody really does anything, but it's a shared experience, right? This understanding that you know, things are happening on the screen, that everybody's kind of experienced the same thing all together, right? It's really difficult when it comes to other activities, right? If you're playing a video game, for example, together, yeah, two people are, everybody else is watching, but two people are actually, if it's a fighting game, for example, they're the actually ones that they're doing that. And I think it is a real 10 out of 10, because just hearing your guys' experience with it and kind of like reliving it, it definitely adds a lot more to it. I think I probably would have given it a better score if I had seen the movie with you guys instead of by myself. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what it is, but as a complete thing on its own, if I had to review it just based on the merits of itself, I really can't give it a 10. But I think because it's a cohesive experience altogether, as we watch movies even though it's separately, but we had the same exact experience, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, you guys had the exact same feelings when I was doing through that entire thing. I really enjoyed it. But obviously, I feel like the messages that we received are a little bit differently. You guys experience it a little bit differently, and you guys enjoy different parts of it. Just adds to the experience altogether. And sure, yeah, if I had to give a movie a 10 out of 10 from 2019, I think this was it. Just because of
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a 10, but it's
a soft 10.
Yeah.
Boo.
But yeah. So I feel like I've done a lot of talking about this episode, this movie.
Yeah,
Is there
for
anything
someone
else you
who
guys
hated
want?
it so much.
Yeah, seriously.
Not okay. Come on. Hey, the funny thing is, I think in terms of overall talk time, in terms of like where my rating is, Ben had just as much to say about Rise of Skywalker, even though he gave it
in a negative light.
Yeah.
like a negative 10 if he could.
Yeah, it's a bell curve. All right.
All right. You guys have anything else you guys wanted to add? Favorites or the other details you feel like our audience would appreciate about this movie if they were to see it?
Well, I would imagine the history buffs out there would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry, Darren. We're moving on.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should have had him on as a special guest. Oh, well,
That would require for him to see it. Did he see it with you guys?
Yeah, he saw it.
Oh, okay. And what was his thought?
I believe he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Get fucked, David.
And no historical inaccuracies?
Nope, no gripes from him.
Yep.
Well, did he actually see the maps that were there? Because I feel like that's where his expertise
that's
is. Because
where-
I think they just kind of just like glossed over how many maps. I was like, oh, that's a cool map. Oh, let's not focus on it at all. Okay, cool. Let's just move on. You know what? That's the reason why I gave it a 9 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Lack of focus on.
I'm gonna rate it just for Darren. Darren would have probably given it a 9 out of 10. Not enough of those money shots of those maps. Right? I mean, he probably was like, "Oh, that's a fake map."
Hey,
anyways.
look, this
It's
one's
probably-
not even colored in.
Clearly, they haven't advanced far enough in the game. Okay, but did Stu? I didn't want to interrupt you. History buffs. What additional information do you think they would have enjoyed?
Well, I don't know. I think just like the all the attire, I think was probably pretty accurate. The the weapons and the I know there was some confusion about I think how many bullets his gun held, but I think we got that cleared up.
Yeah.
It was like 10 or something. So, and there could have been an opportunity for him to reload off screen where we didn't see it. So,
Or in between fight scenes or something like that.
yeah,
when
like when he first woke up from being unconscious, when he goes outside, you kind of don't see him for a few seconds. So in those few seconds, it probably would have been prudent of him to reload his gun because he had fired a bunch of bullets since then.
True.
So.
Because that was a Luger that was shot that hit his helmet. Is that the reason why he was able to survive? Is it because the caliber's not as high? I thought that was a very interesting choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's how he.
I mean, I have heard there have been accounts of people getting shot in the head where the bullet bounces off,
like grazes it or glances
not
off
even
of it.
not even grazes. Like they'll get hit like straight on, but it just bounces off.
Oh, okay.
It just didn't have the right trajectory, or maybe the person's skull was just the right thickness or whatever. So
Well, I think it was a kind of an interesting choice that, like, if I was the guy there, why wouldn't he shoot him in the stomach? Or, like, shoot where there's more area?
Well, it looked like he
that
was injured already, and he did just, like, step
Yeah.
through the door. So, I mean, it was just, like, a
Yeah,
quick
it was-
reaction, right?
Yeah,
And that's a pretty
probably
good shot for a
headshot.
quick reaction.
Yeah, that's he did the quick time, the L1 R1, and he just headshotted him.
Yeah, I know.
But
Jeez.
unfortunately, it was not enough to down him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we go ahead and wrap up this review of 1917?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of
Rat
10.
scene, bunker rat scene, amazing.
Oh, my God.
Talk about. I will say this one last thing is that the pacing in this was so good. everybody needs to watch this based on the pacing. Like, I felt like there was never a dull moment. I felt like I was hoping for some of those moments where, you know, when like Schofield or Blake is talking to Schofield about like, oh, here's a funny story, blah blah. I was like salivating over moments like that because I was like, I couldn't take it. I felt like I was running a marathon. Like, my heart was pounding the entire freaking time, and I was like, even though when there was like a part where we got a reprieve, I still felt tension because I'm like, something's gonna happen. Something is gonna happen. But then nothing would happen. I'm like, wow, I like stressed myself out for nothing, and then something would happen. I was like,
Oh, and then the rat falls from the ceiling.
Oh my
Correct.
fucking god.
I thought it was over.
Yep.
Thought it was over.
Yep. Nope, but
But-
that was. I think we touched on all the great parts, which was all of it.
Yeah, the whole
Yep.
movie.
10 out of 10.
10 10.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna exit the spoiler zone, and let's talk about really quickly. I'm assuming we're going to see Bad Boys for Life as our movie of the week next week.
Yes, please.
All right, done. And Ben's homework is to watch 1 and 2. I'm not going to assign homework to Stu because I already know he's already watched 1 and 2 again
Yeah, I
recently.
have, actually.
I'm also going to watch 1 and 2 this week in anticipation. I was so excited. I remember when I saw the trailer for this, and I literally was just like, guys, it's happening. And then you're like, yeah, I remember Stu was like, I know, I already saw it.
For years,
know.
I've been like, why aren't they making another one? Why? And then they finally are.
I already know I'm going to have to dock it just a little bit because the Porsche that Will Smith's driving isn't as cool.
Okay.
Because the new Porsche Carrera, I think he's driving the 911, like not the 911, the Carrera GTS 3. The shift knob on it, it's still a manual, but it's like this dinky thing. It looks like a
like you're
paddle
gonna break it?
shifter. No, yeah, it's like very gentle looking. It's not like you don't get that satisfying like shift that you would. I feel like I'm gonna have to knock it down half a point. So the best it could possibly get would be a 9.5, but because it's not 1917, it's probably the best it's gonna get as a 9.
All right. Yeah, I think
it's probably gonna be like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, Ben, do yourself a favor and just watch them.
I did. All right.
No,
Shit just
you
got
didn't.
real.
No,
all
you
right?
watched Hot
Shit
Fuzz
just
twice.
got real. The end.
All right. Well, that pretty much will do it here for us at the Dos and a Half Cinco's podcast. As always, I am your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Well, we hope you guys will go ahead and tip your Reiki masters next time you see them. And we'll check you guys on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.